Всем привет, уважаемые зрители! Добро пожаловать на мой YouTube канал. Спасибо вам большое за то, что вы меня смотрите, и если вам не сложно, пожалуйста, поставьте лайк на это видео. Хотелось бы поблагодарить Василия из Дубая за то, что он мне помог написать субтитры к этому видео. Если кому-нибудь нужны тренировки в Дубаях, вы можете ему написать, ссылку оставлю в описании под этим видео. Как ваше здоровье? Насколько я знаю, вы получили травму, отрыв бицепса, и у вас прошла успешная операция.
Yeah, so the bicep was severely damaged, primarily because of all the bone that I had inside my elbow from all the fractures. Was essentially like a coral reef just sawing away on my tendon every time I used my bicep. So when it popped loose, it didn't just tear off the bone, it shredded north to south. So when the doctor got in there, he ended up removing all the bone, which is giving me back range of motion that I haven't had in a long time. But he had to take the tendon, resuture it and retubulize it because it had flattened out and it was crazy looking. So he had retubilized it and he attached it at 3 different points of fixation. So he told me as long as I let it heal, it should come back very, very strong. So Friday will be 6 weeks since my surgery. There's my scar from here, and then there's the scar from where they released the compression from my ulnar nerve. I just took off my brace 2 days ago. So I haven't been able to train yet, but I go back to the doctor in 1 week, and hopefully I can start training.
Сколько вы занимаетесь армрестлингом и как прошли в этот вид спорта?
My first competition was in 1990. So I'm in my 33rd year. I was 17 years old when I started. I used to mess around when I was a kid. I used to arm wrestle my dad. I used to beat everybody in school all the way through school. And then my senior year in high school, someone told me about a tournament at a local fair. I went, I got hooked, took 3rd place, came home, built a table, started holding tournaments at the boys club, and have been doing it ever since. I was in the 200-pound division. The 176 to 200 was the weight category back then. My first national championships 2 years later, I had cut all the way down to 176 pounds.
Откуда у вас появилось прозвище «МОНСТР Майкл Тодд»?
Yeah, in 2006, I was competing against Ron Bath at the National Arm Wrestling League at the Olympia in Las Vegas. And I was sharing a room with Neil Pickup. Now, previously, Neil had seen me at 198 pounds, 220 pounds, but I was 250 pounds and I had abs and I was in really good shape. And I came out of the shower and I had a towel, and he was on the phone with somebody and he goes, "Oh my God, Michael Todd's a monster." Because he'd never seen me that big. So the next day he announced me as Monster Michael Todd, and it stuck.
Есть ли у вас в планах выступить на турнире AMC? И если да, то в какой весовой категории?
I would love to compete in the AMC tournament in 2024. That championship belt looks amazing. I will be a super heavyweight. I'm heavyweight right now. Like I'm 255 pounds, so I'm 116 kg. Now I will probably compete again this weekend at 110 kg, just left-handed. And I'm still doing my quest to win 100 this year. So I would just have to do it with the left arm, right? So I have to enter twice as many events, and it's going to be much more difficult. But I'm saying lighter, 110, 115, so that right now all my nutrition goes to heal my arm. So when I eat healthy food, I want it to focus on healing my arm, not build big muscles. Once I'm completely healed, I will probably start, getting 260, 265, 270. I won't get fat and out of shape, but I'll just be very big and muscular is my plan. Just healthy.
Какие спортсмены из этой категории вас удивили больше всего?
Well, obviously, I'm most impressed with Zara because he's amazing. Like, he looks super strong. I just watched him on the after table with Crosby left-handed, and it wasn't even close, and Crosby's left is pretty good. So Zara must be really strong. Vitaly, always impressed with Vitaly. Dimitri, super impressed with him as well. And they have a whole bunch of other guys who are very high-level skilled people. They're just not as big of names as those 3 gentlemen. I hope to, when I do come back, I come back at a very high level. That is my plan. But yeah, I would love to just be involved. I love competition. I turned 50 years old in 2 months. So I'm excited about still being able to compete at a very high level, even though I'm an aging athlete, right? So I'm excited. I mean, being a super heavyweight is a natural weight for me. It's very easy. I was 265 the other day just because I ate bad for a few days. You know, like I'm not trying to be heavy. My body wants to be bigger. But yeah, so once I get healthy, once I'm 100% healthy and I can get back to training, I will still stay small. When I say small, 115 or less for a while. But once I know I'm completely good to go and I'm fully released from the doctor to do whatever I want, at that point I will start getting bigger. So yeah, I mean, Czar, Vitaly, Dmitry, and all the other guys, all amazing competitors, and I'd like to just see how I stack up.
Давайте вспомним ваш последний поединок с Алексеем Воеводой. Поделитесь впечатлениями от того поединка. И интересен ли вам матч-реванш с новой версией Алексея?
Of course. And before I go on, I've always wanted to compete in Russia. So I've always wanted to come to Moscow. I've always wanted to compete. So the AMC tournament, for one, is definitely something that's on my list of things I want to do. But yeah, Alexey Voevoda, at the time when I arm wrestled him in 2007, he was the strongest human I had ever arm wrestled up to that point in my career. I believe since then, some Plinkoff, Pushkar in his peak, I think those guys were stronger. But at that time, Alexey Voevoda was the strongest person ever arm wrestled. He was an amazing athlete. I truly believe he's probably one of the best athletes our sport has ever seen. Anyone who could be a world champion arm wrestling and then go be an Olympian in bobsled is an amazing athlete. It's obviously awesome to have him back in the sport. I'm excited they just announced his match with John. Would I like a rematch with Alexey? Absolutely. 100%. I would love to run that back. I'm a different person than I was, 16 years ago. And I think I'm even going to be different when I come back after my healing. So I hope he has a good performance against John. I hope he wants to stay in. I hope he wants to get some more matches. And I hope I'm on that list. So that'd be exciting.
Майкл, вы похудели на 32 килограмма. Как это сказалось на вашей силе? Упали ли силовые показатели?
Okay, so I started off March of last year around 295, 300 pounds. And I finished up I got all the way down to 231 pounds when I pulled on Gurbayev, right? Everything I was doing in the gym, which is crazy, I was just as stronger at that 232, 42, 50 weight as I was at the 300 weight. Did it translate to the table? Does mass move mass? I'm not sure. I have had so many injuries in my arm. I don't think I've been able to perform at my best yet. That's why I'm so excited about having this surgery, getting my arm repaired. The biggest thing is, and this is what people don't understand, do I have a healthier arm? Absolutely. Will it be healthier once it's completely healed? No doubt. But it's only going to be strong if I'm willing to put in the work. Like if I don't put in the work, I just have a healthy functioning arm. But if I'm willing to go in and dig and work and put all the effort I used to put into arm wrestling again, I think I have a chance to come back and be something really special. So it all comes down to do I want it? Do I feel like I've accomplished enough already? Or do I still have more things I want to do? And for me, I don't think there's such a thing as a retired arm wrestler, so I still have big goals ahead of me. But yeah, the dropping the weight didn't really affect me, in my opinion. It definitely didn't affect me in the gym. Everything I was doing in the gym, I was deadlifting more, curling more, squatting more than I've ever done in my life. So yeah, but this time when I do come back, it will be a healthier, bigger version of me. I won't be trying to make light heavyweight. I won't be trying to make heavyweight. Like I said, I will be for the next 4 to 5 months as I'm just healing and recovering. But once I'm fully recovered, I expect to be 125 kg plus.
Как вы считаете, сможет ли Артём Морозов победить Левана Сагинашвили? Хватит ли ему времени для того, чтобы стать максимально сильным и дать самый тяжелый бой Левану Сагинашвили?
It's possible. He's a young man. He's hungry. He's fearless. That's the one thing about Morozov. He's fearless. He believes he's in the fight. He believes he deserves to be there. And when you take that and you give someone that type of confidence, it's very hard to beat him. I do think Levan is the heavy favorite versus anybody. But Morozov has the size, the stature, and what I believe is the tenacity and hunger to if he's close, to make a match out of it. He has a long lever. I think he has a longer lever than Levan. I don't think his hand's necessarily bigger, but it's big enough, right? And I think he might be a little bit more explosive. I may not be the case, but he appears that he might be a little bit more explosive than Levan. Levan showed us in Hermes how skilled he is. He's been so dominant, he hasn't had to show his arm wrestling expertise or his skill or his technique. And versus Hermes, he had to do that, which made me even more impressed with Levan of what he's capable of. Yes, he's the strongest guy we've ever had in arm wrestling, I'm sure. but he also is a very skilled arm wrestler as well. So until someone pins him, Levan's the favorite. But yeah, Morozov, if there's somebody out there that has the potential, Morozov is definitely one of those guys.
Майкл, расскажите о том, с какого времени вы начали использовать технику Кинг Смув, и что вы можете сказать людям, которые осуждают эту технику.
Yeah, so in 2010, my left elbow blew apart and my arm landed on the table behind me in Cine Combat in London in an Arm Wars world title defense against Wagner Bortolato. When I came back, this was in a sling. I couldn't compete. So when I was trying to arm wrestle, I couldn't pull here and do this anymore. I wasn't able. So I started pushing and just dragging back, became an outside arm wrestler. Well, because my arm wouldn't come any closer than this, and like I said, now it comes quite a bit closer, but it used to not come any closer than this. For me to get height in my hand, where my left hand, all I have to do is bring it closer to my body and it's higher. My right hand, I would have to dip my shoulder to get higher. So for me to get the height that I needed, I had to drop my shoulder. Well, at the time, it was within the rules. The rules didn't say you couldn't do it. It's only since they've changed the rules against the King's move that, you can't do certain things. And it's funny because people will go back in some of my previous victories when I beat Pushkar or Devin or got pins on some Plinkoff. They're like, oh, you were cheating. I wasn't cheating then. It wasn't against the rules then. It's only against the rules now. You know what I'm saying? So does it catch a lot of hate? Absolutely. I'm a person who, when you're in a fight, you do whatever it takes to win within the rules. So people can hate on me. And I found out it affected me for a while. And I actually let it kind of change the way I was wanting to perform. And then I realized, well, then if I didn't win, I would get hated on. So if I was going to be hated, I might as well be hated for winning. So King's move is a great technique when it's done properly. Is there counters to it? Yes. Of course, people said, oh, you can't beat him unless you break his arm. Well, obviously that's not true because people have pinned me, my arm didn't break. But yeah, I mean, it's controversial. And a lot of it came from me beating Devin when Devin had so many followers and they jumped on a bandwagon of hating me. I must have cheated. There's no way, Devin could lose type deal. And it just kind of evolved. What's funny is there's people out there who do way worse King's move than me, but I'm the one who gets the most critique and criticism for it. But
Расскажите о ваших 3 самых запоминающихся армфайта за всю свою спортивную карьеру.
Okay, so the 3 most memorable in this order are Andre Pushkar, January 2012, for the PAL International World Championship that they had. No one picked me to win. Everyone picked me to lose. I think Ingen said I had like a 20% chance of tying. He broke it down 6-0, 5-1, 4-2, 3-3, and I think I had a 20% chance of tying. That was it. No one even predicted me to win. Neil Pickup called me and said, hey, Igor and them just bet me $1,000 if Pushkar's going to 6-0 sweep you. I said, take that bet, but tell them I'm going to win 6-0. I was very confident. I knew I was strong. And the very first match, when the strap breaks and the match stopped in the center of the table, I knew I was going to win. So when we got it tied together and the match stopped and I looked at the crowd and I told them it was over, I knew I was going to win that match. That was the biggest win of my career. Number 2 would be day 1 at the 2011 Arnold Classic. I had Richard Lucky's and Dennis Blinkoff had a war round 2. And that's all people remember, right? Round 3, Dennis flashes his opponent round 3. But round 3, I have to pull Tim Bresnan. And we have 3 or 4 starts. And it's just crazy wars. Me pulling Tim, me pulling Tim, me pulling Tim. And then Tim fouls out. And that's my round 3 match. And my round 4 match is Dennis and Blinkoff. And I get the victory. And the moment that I put the brakes on and I stopped, same thing again. I look out the crowd. I'm like, it's over. I knew that once I could stop him. Now, the problem was I went home that night and I watched the video numerous times. And I was like, how did my arm not break? Because how hard he was hitting on me. I think it got in my head. And the next day when I stopped him again, I just wasn't willing to I just was afraid he's going to hurt me, I think. So he ended up beating me on the second day. But if that tournament would have been a one-day event, I would have beat him the next 100 matches that day. It's just him coming back the next day. He had healed up. He was recovered. And I wasn't. I just didn't have the same confidence. But so second biggest win of my career was defeating Dennis and Blinkoff at the Arnold Classic on day 1. The third most memorable match is WAL 406. I was the reigning 2017 WAL Super Heavyweight Champ from the event, the world title that they ended up canceling, but they still held anyway. Devin was a 225-pound champ. He'd taken second in 2014 to Marcio, 2015 to John. He won in 16 and he won in 17. But everyone was just crowning him as the heavyweight champ. I'm like, guys, he's the light heavyweight champ. He's a heavyweight champ. He's not the super heavyweight champ. I'm the super heavyweight champ. So when we had that final match at WAO 406, I was a huge underdog. Everyone just expected Devin to win. And I told everyone, I'm like, I'm going to win. This is my title. I'm not giving it up. So that day, having Devin push to his limits and have him, put everything out there and go as far as he could, and me come out 3-2 on that day. Number 3 biggest victory of my career. So,
спасибо вам большое за интервью. Я желаю вам скорейшего выздоровления. Друзья, а хотели бы вы увидеть Майкла Тодда на турнире AMC в категории свыше 95 кг? И как вы считаете, сможет ли он выиграть эту категорию? И также пишите в комментариях, хотели бы вы увидеть Майкла Тодда в противостоянии с Алексеем Воеводой. Сможет ли он выиграть в матче-реванше?